Alright, so let's do problem number 9. Somebody had a question on problem number 9. So problem number 9 says solve the equation by extracting the square roots. And so problem number 9 is 3 times the quantity x plus 4 squared is equal to 8. So that's what we're looking at here. And so I copied that down while we were looking at it. And so ideally what we want to do is we want to have something that looks like this. We want to say a times x plus b, and then take the square root of that. And then we'll have some constant c over here. And so we want to take the square root. And so we're not quite ready because I got this 3 in the front. And so the question I think that was asked was, do we distribute the 3 through or what? No. What we could do though is just divide everything by 3. Okay? And then when we divide everything by 3, we get x plus 4 squared is equal to 8 over 3. And it looks kind of messy, but you know what? That's okay. Messy doesn't bother us, right? We're pre-calculus students. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And so remember, when you take the square root of a square, it becomes what? Just the base. Just the base is what I'm looking for. So this side becomes x plus 4, and then this side over here is actually the square root of 8 over 3. And you say, Mr. Adams, that looks horrible. But remember, it's not just the principal root, it's the plus or negative, right? So when we take the square root of something, it's plus or minus. So then if I subtract 4 from both sides, I get x is equal to negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 8 over 3. Now that looks kind of crazy, right? So if we're going to graph that, this is where it would cross the x-axis. So really we have two solutions. If I split this up, I would say that x is equal to negative 4 plus the square root of 8 over 3, or x is equal to negative 4 minus the square root of 8 over 3. Now you could leave that answer just the way it is, and that would be the exact value, but if you're one of those decimal people and you want to know the decimal answer, you could just get your calculator out and just plug it in your calculator. So I'm going to do the first one here, and negative 4 plus the square root, and then I'm going to put 8 divided by 3, hit enter. And so that answer is going to be negative 2, 3, 6, 7, roughly. So x is approximately that. Okay, now let's slide this over and do the other side. You gotta make that noise too. And the only thing that's going to change, now let me show you a little trick. The only thing that's going to change is the minus sign. So I'm going to hit second entry, and that'll pull up the last entry that I had. Now I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to change that positive, that plus sign to a minus sign. And now I'm going to hit entry, and now I've got x's approximately negative 5.633 if I round up, right? Okay. Well, that's one way to verify, but we're taking the ACT, we want to make sure that we have the absolute correct answer. We don't want to have any errors, we want to make sure we have the right answer. So what could we do? We could graph it. But Mr. Adams needs to change this because I was messing around with some parametric equations this morning. You know, about 7:30. Good thing to do, wake up in the morning and do some parametric equations. So that means I got to go back. That was a joke, by the way. I got to go back and change to function mode. Now when I hit y equals, I'm going to plug in this original equation. But I have to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to say 3 times the quantity x plus 4 raised to the 2, right? Now, if I take this expression and set it equal to 0, how do I do that? I have to subtract 8 from both sides. So the equation is really minus 8. I'm going to tack on that minus 8. Now when I graph that, These 2 points where it crosses the x-axis should be negative 2.367 and negative 5.633. Shall we see? Let's see. So if I hit second trace, because it has that little calc there above it, I want to find the zeros. And so it says left bound, so I gotta move this silly cursor around to I'm just a little bit to the left of that intersection. And now right bound, move a little bit to the right. Guess. Negative 2.367. Wow, that's pretty good. Let's do the other one. Ready? So now let's move over to the other one. You got to make those noises too. Same thing. Now the reason I did it 3 different ways is because I may have made a mistake. So if you do something 3 different ways and you get the same answer, it's probably correct. How long did that take us to do that? About a minute? 2 minutes? I don't know. But on the ACT, you got to be able to do that in a minute and a half.